I think the first year we went there, it was me and Tony Cirillo and Dick Wilson kind of ran the race.
Yeah.
And there was about 800 go-karts, and they were still hand scoring.
This is a municipal stadium?
It was at Municipal. It was the year after they moved from Memorial. No,
Okay.
well, they were at Volusia one year, and prior to that, they were at Memorial down by the hospital.
I remember.
And they moved 1 year to the half mile at Volusia, and then they built the stadium and they went there. Mm-hmm. But these poor girls, can you imagine 30 carts on that quarter mile, and they were hand scoring?
I can't imagine.
No, and I kind of joked in the podcast. I said, nobody knew for sure if they were right or not, but who's going to argue? Right? You got
what grounds do you have to fight them on, right? Yeah. And like in the same way, I've been to enough, modern dirt kart races and road races, and obviously a whole lot of sprint races, which is what a lot of what we spend our time, at least with what I do with Kart Chaser doing, that doesn't fly with the modern crowd. Everyone's got phones and GoPro cameras and are stopwatching themselves and Micron devices. They're like, no. I'm above the cut line. I'm in the top 30, right? Like, and just the concept of, hey, that's what it is. I didn't make it, just isn't an acceptable response with the modern karting clients and people and everything.
Back then you used to carry a Robie, one of those red Robie stopwatches up to the fence. And I got a 38. What'd you get?
These guys run a race track with a phone in their hand, and they know when the guy crosses the line.
Yeah.
Right.
It's crazy.
No, usually they're banging on timing and scoring if they don't pop within 1 or 2 laps because the transponder might have missed for some reason. Hey, no, I'm in 4th right now. What race is still going on, right? Yeah. You wouldn't know if you accidentally got missed by timing and you were a lap down until you got the written results of this is actually they might have missed me on a popsicle stick. I don't know. I guess that's where I finished. Right.
Back then, a guy with a fast thumb, he always wanted to complain.
Yeah.
That's right.
I probably was one of them guys at some point.
Yeah. I think maybe you were, Beef. Yeah, I believe so. Well, we like to do these podcasts kind of in chronological order, so to speak, starting from the beginning and then winding up where you are now. And so let's talk about the two of you here. Let's talk about how you were introduced to karting.
So it's kind of so it was 1982. A friend of ours lived on the same street, still a close friend today, had a motorcycle. We wanted a motorcycle so we could keep up because we had bicycles. My dad wouldn't get us one because they were dangerous. He decided to build us a little track in the backyard.
Little did he know.
He did.
Built a track in the backyard. We went to CKI, bought some used go-karts. He's out there with a Farmall 460 tractor and a scrape blade and built a track in the backyard. We done that for 2 or 3 weeks, and he worked with some guys from RJ Reynolds Tobacco Company that raced at North Davidson Speedway on Friday nights. And lo and behold, a few weeks later, we were down there watching on a Friday night. And the next Friday night, Greg was down there driving a car, one of our cars.
Yeah.
And
not a clue what we were doing.
And from then, it was pretty much that was pretty much the history of it. That's how we got. I raced a little bit.
Yeah.
But I never really, I guess you could say I just wasn't cut out for it. Didn't really enjoy it. I liked working on stuff, and he liked racing.
Yeah.
Like driving.
We figured out really fast that I wasn't the mechanic and he wasn't the driver.
and you know what's ironic about it is we're still close. Is it was almost like our combination of racing together was always so complimentary of each other because we could work things through. We didn't have a whole lot of arguments. We didn't have a whole lot of disagreements. No. We could talk things through with common sense and get along and make things happen based on my knowledge and his knowledge. And he's driving, I'm working, and he knew a lot about tires. I knew about tire setup, so we kind of could always work things out. Almost like the two of us made one person.
Yeah. Well, and that was my observation from a distance. Watching you guys is you clicked. Okay. Yep. You knew what the other one wanted before they said it, right? It was the chemistry you needed to be successful, and obviously it worked because you guys were very successful. Yeah. So you started running some local weekly shows. What was your home track at that time?
North Davidson, Tyro. You remember Tyro?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Liberty.
Yep.
That was really the three.
Rowan County Fairgrounds.
Yeah, Rowan County had a racetrack we went to
Okay.
occasionally. But really, that's about all we went to.
We run local for the first 2 or 3 years. We won a track championship at Tyro in 1984 in junior stock.
Yeah. Tyro always drew a big crowd.
Absolutely.
And
so how about old are you guys when you're going through this for those 2 or 3 years? You know, if you're in juniors, then you both are.
Yeah, we're like 14, 15 years old then, you know.
So we started relatively young.
Not as young as they do today.
Started the Tyro year, he was 15. When we finished the season, he was 16. We started running some stock
stuff.
Yeah, and other tracks, but we stayed with junior stuff at Tyro because we were in the points battle. Back then, track championship was a big deal. I mean, to this day, 40 years later, and we quit racing pretty much in 2003, but to this day, that's still the biggest trophy we ever won was the 1984 championship. It's about 4 foot tall.
Tucson Durham built it. Do you remember Tucson?
Oh, I remember Tucson very well.
Yeah,
that trophy's in my dad's basement.
I got to tell you a quick story about Tucson. You guys knew Tucson. Of course, Xander, you didn't know him, but Tucson was. It's fair to say he was a good old boy. Great man.
Absolutely.
Honest as the day is long. Just a simple country man, and I loved him. And my dad.
Great way to put it. Yeah.
So Dan Klutz was telling me a story about Tucson one day. I asked him, I said, "What about old Tucson? It seems like a pretty good guy." He says, "Yeah, he works for not Winston, maybe Philip Morris, or maybe RJ Reynolds.
RJR. He worked at Reynolds.
Yeah. So he says, "Let me tell you a story about Tucson." Now, Xander, to meet Tucson, and I mean this with the utmost respect, you would know that he's just a good old country boy, doesn't have a college education, but he's got wisdom. And that's a lot more important than a college education.
A lot of times it can be. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So he says Tucson was a foreman, I think, at RJR or something. He was some type of a manager.
Yeah, he was.
And his boss brought him in one day and showed him this new machine. And he said, "Tucson, this machine is going to eliminate 20 jobs, and RJR is going to save all that money." And he says, Tucson looked at his boss and he says, "How many cigarettes do those machines smoke?" Now let that soak in a minute. And how sharp of an observation is that? You eliminated 20 people that were supporting you, buying your cigarettes. Now they can't afford them. They don't have a job. And this stupid machine ain't going to smoke one.
No, that's
right.
Yeah.
And that has stuck with me. And that had to be that story has to be 50 years old. I swear to goodness, that thing stuck with me. And that is one of the most insightful things I've ever heard from a man who was just a simple, honest,
that's such like a testament of like blue collar, white collar kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Right. Like the pencil pushers going, no, we're going to do this is going to be so much better. And he's like, what do you guys think about who buys this stuff? It's the guys who work for us. Because it's right.
That's right.
I get, that's exactly what it was. Yeah. So anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I had to tell that story because it stuck with me since forever, so, but
he was a good
anyway, he was.
Tucson was a good flagman too.
Yeah. So a lot of people also don't realize that as you're moving up in your competition level, so to speak, of karting, the state series in the Carolinas were next to a national.
Yes.
Right. So tell us some of the experiences you had. You probably ran North Carolina and South Carolina and probably Virginia, didn't you?
We did. We ran all three seasons. At one point in time, we ran all three.
Yeah.
I mean, we concentrated mostly on North Carolina, but we ran the South Carolina series one year. But it was like going to basically like a national race almost. Like it was the same people. If you won there, you could go to a national event and compete for wins. It was.
You would have a North Carolina State race, Xander, and they would easily draw over 300 entries.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it makes total sense, right? You think of how many tracks are in that area, right? And the present culture of NASCAR and all the short tracks from that area at that time, probably even more so, along with all the go-karts. That makes total sense.
Right. And like you said, it wouldn't be but 12 or 14 classes. It wasn't 26 classes. Right. Yeah. I mean,
and you would have Virginia, Carolina, North and South Carolina.
Yeah.
Tennessee had a decent state series.
Yeah.
And that's, we talk about yesterday and today. That's certainly one thing that's missing now.
Absolutely.
Is that ladder, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Get into karting. Let's go race for money, right? Instead of Well, we raced local. Let's try the state series. By golly, I think I'm ready for the national. Let's go to Daytona. You know,
right.
It was that progression. Yeah.
Right. And Randy, we used to race for a trophy. There was no
I know.
Right.
I know.
Well, you get a Briggs & Stratton engine in a crate if you won.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be it. Like that was your prize.
And things change, but the truth of the matter is, and I saw it because I was part of it. When you stood on top of that podium at a national, or when you were at Kart Fest at that banquet, and you're giving the speech because you're the only one in the class that can give a speech because you won that class.
Right.
There was a sense of pride that nobody could write a check and replace.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
I wouldn't replace it for anything.
I know it meant so much, and I look back on that thinking, man, nothing stays the same. But that was a great time in karting.
And this is, again, I can only speak for our time. I'd probably speak for him. We lived through the best time of karting.
I think you did. I think I did too.
Yeah. Again, that's one man's opinion, but
yeah. It was great to be a part of it. I appreciate you saying that, but again, no sense diving too deep into a rabbit hole, but it just, things don't stay the same. They change.
No, things change.
Yeah, exactly. But so somewhere along the lines, when you're racing from local to state and so on, you were working at CKI. That's where you really honed your craft, so to speak, of tuning and building and so on. You decided to strike out on your own and start Beef Performance.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about that.
Well, so first, talking about climbing the ladder, I want to talk about this quite quick before we get into that.
Okay, sure. Absolutely.
So we won that track championship in 84. 85, we kind of just done some, we didn't really run for points. In 86, we started running some state series. My dad had went to CKI and bought some laser carts and a new trailer. We actually were starting to go more professional.
It was getting pretty serious. Yeah.
And then in 87 is when we started running for state series, 88, 89, so on. And then in 1990, we started, or in the 89, 90 is when we started running national series. So we did take a progression like you're talking about. And then I went to school for a machinist in 87, graduated in 88, and I went to work first at CKI in 88, and then Greg joined at the end of the year. So we both worked there 88, 89, 90. So how we ended up – go ahead.
No, yeah, and in that progression, right, with how much you guys are racing and going far, but maybe not, like across the country far, but far enough where you're getting hotels and stuff. Are you guys traveling together and dad's not coming along because dad's working? Is there a lot of you two guys taking the trailer and everything?
Got a really funny story for you.
Yeah.
This is 1990.
Mm-hmm.
Greg's 21, 22. I'm 21, 20. We're only a year.
We're still pretty young. Yeah.
So we're still pretty young. We go to Dagsboro, Delaware for Dirt National. We had won every national event for limited heavy. That's the main class we're focusing on. We kind of dropped the state series at the time. We were only running national races. And Greg and myself, just the two of us, drive to Dagsboro, Delaware with my dad's truck and trailer. Road map.
Yeah, there's no Google map.
Right. No cell phones. No cell phones. We drive to Dagsboro, Delaware. We find the track. We park. We race. We win. We left there Saturday night, driving back home. No hotel rooms. Probably $100 in our pocket. Literally.
Yeah.
And we stopped at the
we stopped at 3 or 4. Yeah.
Yeah. Couldn't find a room, so we drove on. We stopped at a rest area in Durham and snapped about 2 hours and drove on home. Got home Sunday morning, probably 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
21 years old. No road maps, no cell phones. We would come back with the trophy. We did do that.
That's right. That's what you went after, right? That's what you went up there for.
Well,
so that's kind of, looking at it now, I don't know how many people could do that nowadays. I'm not bragging on us, but I mean, that's pretty dumb. Really.
That's big.
Yeah, well, I mean, just think about what your dad's thinking, right? Like, all right, I hope this trailer and this truck makes it back home because he can't call you guys when going down the road.
At that time, I think we were pretty responsible and we were pretty.
We were pretty mature for our age.
Yeah, we were down with it. And so anyway, long story short, there was a guy, we got into a late model stock car. I quit CKI. The guy hired me to full time. Greg drove the car. I crew chiefed the car. We'd done that about a little over a year. And the deal kind of fizzled out.
Yeah.
Guy kind of didn't want to keep spending money, and I wasn't too eager. I knew I needed to get away from it if he couldn't afford it. So I was caught basically between the crosshairs of what am I going to do in my life now? So that's where Beef Performance Racing was born. It's the end of 1991. And I've decided I've got to do something in my life. So I went and got a loan at the bank, got some machinery, some tool and equipment, started in my dad's basement, done it in there for about, I don't know, a year and a half. And then we moved, we had a building for rent in King, and I moved it there and kind of got a storefront by myself originally. And Greg came on a little bit later as a business partner, invested in, bought some parts, started the shipping departments, putting carts together. And that's kind of how it got started. That was around 93, 94 area, around that time.
Yeah, right. That's awesome.
So I was forced into starting it, basically.
Yeah. But I got to put some food on the table, right? All of a sudden, the deal you guys get in, you just don't know, right? You're just excited. You're getting probably to go late model racing, and move up, and you're just not thinking of, well, what if, is this deal a 6-month deal, a 1 year, 10? You're not thinking that. You're just like, hell yeah, we're going late model racing.
You're just thinking about the next day. That's
I will say this: we've done it for about a year and 3 or 4 months, year and a half, and kart racing was a lot more fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a lot more fun.
Absolutely.
And I felt like a big fish in a small pond in kart racing. I felt like a minnow in the ocean in the late model racing.
Well, and I'll tell you, Xander, and I want to tell you, the two of you, this too. First of all, that's a real leap of faith to start a business in karting, because you don't know, to some degree, I know you were probably fairly well known, but you got to build your customer base.
Sure.
And you got to learn a whole new facet, which is not just taking care of yourselves, but other people, right?
Absolutely. That's right.
And I will tell you, Xander, when I got to know Beef Performance, when they showed up, they were one to reckon with every time they showed up at an event. People knew that was one of the teams you need to watch for, whether it was Greg Drive, and they had a couple other drivers that were always successful. But how about that adjustment? Now it's not just you racing a stock car or working in the shop at CKI. Now you got a whole new element. We've got customers, and we got to make sure they're as happy as we are, if not happier.
Yeah. So one of the things that really got it kick spiraled and got it really rolling was Tim Moorfield, Justin Moorfield was the son.
Mm-hmm.
They came to us, started doing some minutes together, and we all kind of clicked together. So we all started racing together out of the same trailer. Tim bought a dual trailer.
I remember Justin. Yeah.
We got a bigger trailer, and he was running, junior classes, and Greg was running senior classes, and that kind of put some more people on the track. And so they're instrumental into helping us get where we got, because they were invested in some of the stuff. We were invested in some. And then we ended up hiring a boy, Jason Mabe, and there was a boy briefly that worked for us named Derek Easter. He only worked about a couple of years, and he had left.
Yeah.
Jason stayed with us till 99.
We had some good help, though.
Yeah, we had some good help.
Yeah. Jason, Rodney Wood.
And then Rodney Wood came.
Tyler Stokes, Joe McComb. We had some good people.
Yeah,
did Brandon Ward race for you?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes. Brandon would come to the shop and help us some too. He didn't really, I wouldn't say he worked for us, but he would help us a lot.
And Xander, Brandon Ward is a stud down at Bowman Gray.
Absolutely.
Racing.
He's fixing to win the points championship again.
Yeah.
I was gonna say he looked. I've seen him pop up quite a bit. Like he's been having a decent year. Yeah.
He's still driving.
He's the man.
Do you go down and you guys go down and hang with him sometimes at Bowman
Gray?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Occasionally, I mean, once, twice a year. I go by the race shop occasionally, check out him and Will Spall over there.
Yeah. But Justin Moorfield was a good driver also. I mean,
definitely. Yeah. So we talk about Justin being a junior. Greg, now you've become a mentor. You become a driver coach. You're not just out there trying to go fast for yourself. Now you got to teach somebody else to go fast.
That's right. Yeah.
How'd that
go? I probably wasn't the nicest guy sometimes.
There was some
but I was truthful. Like I wasn't trying to, sugarcoat anything. I'm saying, hey,
what's crazy?
You do it this way or it's not going to work, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
His dad was always on our side, though. He understood what we were trying to do. Yeah. That was always cool. He supported what we were trying to get out of him.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of potential there. We just got to pull it out of you.
Yeah. So, and we're going to talk here in a little while about Daytona. But aside from Daytona, or you can include Daytona, whichever, but if you guys had to sit back and think about the biggest wins you had, both as a driver, Greg, and also you guys as a team with Justin or Brandon or whomever, what comes to your mind when I say the and then maybe not just because it was a big race, but because you didn't expect to win, or you beat somebody you shouldn't have beat, or something like that.
87, you remember the Steve Jones Memorial at Carteret County?
I know of it.
Bobby Watson.
Bobby Watson, yes.
And we went down there in 87 and won that race, and we won $1,300 in 1987, which was
wow.
That's probably like winning $5 or $6 grand now, maybe.
And wasn't that asphalt?
No, it was dirt before.
Oh, and then they paved it after that.
This is the dirt track.
It's still down there. It still runs as asphalt, doesn't it?
Yeah. They actually race. They have modifieds and late models and that sort of stuff on it now. Yeah.
And that's along. Isn't that on the ocean somewhere?
It's right next to the ocean.
It's near Atlantic Beach or Moorhead area.
Yeah, near Moorhead City.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. So that back then $1,300 was $10,000 today.
Yeah, for real.
Right? Yeah.
That was probably our first big.
That was our first big without a
like a big win.
We talked about it already, but Daytona was always.
Yeah.
I mean, we were fortunate. Him. We were fortunate enough to win a few races there, 3 or 4. And not a lot of people can say that.
No.
So that's why I'm so proud of it, because that place was.
Oh.
It was a monster.
So let's go ahead. Let's dig into Daytona. And I'm gonna tell you, this is another podcast. We talk about the back end as far as officials and track personnel and orchestrating everything. Right. Well, you know how important parking was at Daytona, right?
Oh, do I? Yeah.
Okay, so Xander, when you come down Route 92 from the Speedway, right, you head, I don't know, south or west, whatever, and you turn right on, I think, was it LPGA Boulevard, right?
Yep.
And you run about a mile, and then the stadium's set on the right. Well, the night before we would open up for move-in day, we had one day strictly for move-in. They would line up along LPGA Boulevard, and I'm talking hundreds of trailers would line up. There's probably a couple hundred trailers at least lined up, and it stretched pretty far.
It'd be football fields of them, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So one year, this only happened once, but one year, and you guys were probably there, somebody in that line called the Daytona police and said, "You've got traffic jams out here. It's unsafe. Somebody's got to get this gate open. We got to get in. We're blocking the roads." And nobody called us. Nobody called the Speedway. They went down, and now picture this, Xander. They went down, and I think we had reserve spots, but obviously when you open the gate, it's every man for himself.
Oh yeah,
Xander. They opened the gate. And it's just a land rush to get the best spots. And then we get the call. So we go down there, and half the pits are full, and nobody's in their right spot. Not to mention they're taking half.
I believe I do remember that now.
Oh, God. What do you do? You can't. What's it say? You can't.
What did you do?
How do you wrangle everybody up and kick them all back out again? And then how do you get the order? Like, no, I was 10th in line, or I was 55th in line on the second lane on the road, and now you're telling me I'm parking 100th in order? You know,
it took a lot. And you remember Tony Barton? He was an artist of the parking.
He and
a couple of my staff, and I think some people they had to inch closer, but they got everybody in. And I don't know if we refunded or what we did, but there were people that were supposed to get better spots than they did.
Yeah.
And
were there any spots that would fit inside the stadium? Was anyone like paying money to be able to pit inside the stadium, or was the stadium just like tech and pre-grid and everything was outside the stadium?
It was a quarter mile, so there wasn't really. It was a football field inside, so you couldn't really put a lot inside. So in its heyday, there were 2 parking lots, and they were pretty good size on both sides of the stadium. We would fill up one and use part of the other. And we would actually have 2 grids because there were so many people.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so we did that, and it kind of all worked out, but you would stand up on top of the tower and look back out over the parking lot. And I swear to you, and how big were the parking lots? They had to be 3 or 4 acres, probably. At least.
I don't know.
More than that. It was probably a couple hundred trailers.
Just like moving in like a small town almost.
You could walk roof to roof. You could walk from one trailer to the other front to back. They were tight.
Oh,
but it was a monster of its own, So anyway, so let's take it. I wanted to tell that story, but let's take it from the move-in day the prep, everything you had to do leading up to your first day of track time?
Well, we would prep for that race for weeks.
Probably pretty much from Thanksgiving to the day you got there.
Yeah.
I mean, long hours.
And I don't know if everybody remembered what Christmas Day is when you leave to go down.
Yep.
Christmas Day morning is when
Leave about 8 o'clock Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So you're working through the holidays and you're trying to get ready, and then when the holiday gets here, you're not home.
Right.
You're going down 95 at 85 miles an hour headed to Daytona.
Trying to rush to get your spot in line.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but it was like Christmas morning. It was. I mean, you couldn't wait to get there.
Yeah.
I mean, that was that much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the people you race with make it fun too. So it's always fun.
Yeah.
So you get the parking spot you were hoping to get, right?
Yeah.
And you're hoping it's 2-3 rows from the grid, because if you're in the North 40, you better pay attention or you're going to miss your practice, right?
Yeah.
Well, somewhere along the line, we were always pretty good politically. Somehow we always got front somehow.
Yeah. It's called being a sponsor.
You guys, it seemed like if you guys took our money, we'd get a good parking spot.
Hey, I don't know what he's talking. Xander, I have no idea what he's talking about. No idea whatsoever.
The same stuff happens. You know it, Randy. The same stuff happens in the sprint stuff now, and it's just how.
I'm gonna be honest. Again, Tony Barton, your crew, Marie Borsick, she was top notch.
Yeah, I was gonna say Marie's the one we always made sure she was taken care of. She always got us in there.
I don't know how she did it. I don't know how she done it. I really don't.
All I know is when Marie said, "This is what we're doing," I said, "All right."
Good idea.
Yeah, right.
No, I only got to know her for a couple of years, but you could tell that for the last 40 years or however long she had been with WK, she was well used to keeping every kind of rowdy, go-karter in line. Dude could be 7 foot nothing, and they were going to have to listen to Marie.
And I'm not at all afraid or ashamed to say this, but in all the years I was president of WK, Marie Borsick was the face of WK.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Without question. And she could diffuse something.
Yes.
It's like, oh my gosh. And she'd talk to him. It's like, yeah, okay, I guess it's not so bad.
Yeah.
She was a great lady.
That really, the whole crew when you were there, I never had an issue. Yeah. Like I said, Tony was always great to us, and I'd say everybody was good.
And we tried to drive home to people that this is, without these people, none of us have a job. I mean, this has got to be a teamwork. We've got to welcome them, and as hard as it gets, and as tough as it gets, and sometimes as big of a what they can be, within reason. You got to make sure you take care of them. And I think they did a pretty good job. But
absolutely.
So you're moved in, you got everything out, and hopefully there's nothing to work on now, right? Because you got everything ready, right?
Yeah, right. You go through tech. They'd always have a tech,
Oh yeah, pre-tech was move-in day, right?
Yeah.
Well, you park the day after Christmas, and then that was like tech day. Set up your pit area. Those kind of things. Right. Then the next day they started racing.
Yeah.
Right, and then so we would practice in the morning.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Because there was not really a practice day, was there? It was practice in the morning, qualifying and race, and it was 3 days.
Yep. Yeah. 3 days.
Yeah. So there was 2-3 years where we had 2,000 plus entries. So imagine Xander, and honestly, back then 2,000 entries was probably over 1,000 drivers, I would say. And there wasn't that many multiple classes.
Yeah, I mean, there would be 200 and whatever entries in stock medium or stock low.
Yeah. No, Randy was telling me on the first podcast we did, just the concept of 200 drivers going to qualify, and then no consies, no heats, just top 30 after lap times.
You roll on.
There you go.
And what was the gap first to 30th? 2/10, 3/10 sometimes?
It would be less than 3/10 normally. It would be less than 100th a spot.
Mm-hmm.
So you could be 3/10 off, Xander, and not make the show.
Right.
Oh yeah.
If you went up in an early group and you were
if you were group A
or B and you were already a 10th off, you could pretty much know you wasn't going to make it because the other 10 groups or somebody there would be enough in there to beat you that way.
So you had to, in your group, you had to darn near be top 2 or 3 or you're out.
Yeah,
pretty much.
And your group might have 20 or 30, 20 in it probably, right?
Right. There'd be 10 groups, so there'd be 20 in your group or whatever. So
and it'd be luck of the draw with the groups too, right? We'll have plenty of events where groups for quali, if the track is going to get better or worse, the fastest groups from the practice session before happy hour, if you will, is basically a pre-quali session to get the groups. So back then it'd be, you got your group. That's when you're going.
It was random, right? So wherever you went out is where you went out.
And it's so picture this many carts in group qualifying on a quarter-mile track, right? But we didn't. So let me think a minute here. We would send up what, 3 or 4 at a time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'd have like in group
I think it was 4.
4 at a time, and try to space them.
Yeah.
But this is it, man. You got what, 2, 3 laps?
2 laps.
2 laps. You better cut some good laps, man, because if you miss a corner or you get in too high or too low or whatever, start packing because you're going home.
Yeah. You're in the stands watching when they go.
Again,
right.
just that is just so. It's just so foreign to me as a younger guy and knowing the sport and what people expect now, right? The concept of working for basically 5 weeks to get to this event, spending a day and a half just to get parked and pre-tech, right?
It's true story.
And to get a random grouping and to get 2 laps at it, and you just one little flick of the wheel, and all of a sudden you're just enough tenths off to not miss the field. No consi, no B main, no
spectator.
Nothing. That just I mean, I don't know about for you guys, but I would man, throw up some prayers and hopes and a whole lot of flowers to whoever tries to put on an event nowadays and say, nope, 200 people, 30 youths after a 2-lap quali, go home, or stay here and watch. Like
it's almost sounds insane, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like they would be able to get out of that racetrack alive without the other 170 people DNQ and try to beat them up.
So we line them up. So qualifying's in, you're in the top 30, you're running stock heavy, there's 200 in your class. We line them up on the grid, and everybody gets a sticker that says, I made the main at Daytona.
Yeah.
And you could go to a national, then Daytona's in December. You could go to national in September, and people are displaying those stickers, man, because that meant something. Because if you were in a big class and you were top 30, in some cases that was top 20%, 15, 20% of the class, you were in it, whether you were 30th or first or somewhere in between.
Yeah. They were proud to have that, like they had a sticker on their trailer or on their cart, on their truck. I mean, you would see it displayed all throughout the pit area.
All right, so let's get into the racing now. You probably started on pole a few times, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, and I think sometimes now they even start them single file, don't they?
Yeah,
they do now.
They do now.
Yeah.
Then they were double file.
So on that track, we started them double file. And is it safe to say if you're on the outside row, you're going to lose a couple spots before you find?
You better be looking left to find a hole. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you see where you wound up, if it's an even number, you're thinking, oh man,
okay,
I got
exactly what you were thinking.
Yeah. Because you're going to train.
Then you're calculating, okay, if such and such can, or if I can do this, or if he does this, so you're starting to think, all right, so because you know who you're racing with, right?
Right.
Kind of the tendencies a little bit, so you can maybe use this guy up a little bit, or maybe he's not quite as aggressive.
And were the restart single file at least, so you're like, all right, I just got to hang on till probably the first spin, and then hope, then I'm okay.
Which many times was the first turn.
Right. But then in that case, right, isn't that still just a full restart because you can get a full lap in, right? So that's no.
Did
Would
we
they sometimes eventually go back to single file if you got to turn 1, but you're like, we didn't get a lap into the race?
I don't remember. Do you guys remember whether
they used to do either like 1 try and then go single file, or then maybe 2 tries and go single file. I can't really remember. It was just it seemed like they would at least give a try or 2 and then would go single file. But what was crazy about it back then, especially at Daytona, the track didn't have a lot of grip, so there could be some spacing to get down a lot of times. It ain't, people think that it's possible to win starting on the outside too. We won some races down there starting on the outside too. I mean, it's not like you can't. He's talking about that race we won to Steve Jones Moore. We started 8th in that race and won it.
Yeah.
No cautions. I mean, so it's a little overrated that you can't do it.
It makes it tougher though.
It does make it tougher.
Well, and I think you got to find your spot and get your rhythm quick. And if you got that, then you can go. Then you can go race. You run your race.
So breaks got to go your way.
Things got to happen your way.
So you made a comment a minute or so ago. I'd like you to maybe expand on. You said you might want to use them up. What exactly were you talking about, Greg?
Well, now that you're
now that you're retired,
right? Now that you're retired,
tell me, give me the skinny. Come on.
So I don't know if you remember, Daytona used to be, if you could, it would be pretty slick down right next to the football field.
Yeah.
So if you could squeeze those guys just enough,
to
where they could get in that slick stuff, it would slow them down. Okay.
Yeah.
And so when you come up off the corner, you could drive
as long as, like you said, it's the guy that the nice guy that you could kind of do that. Because if it was a guy like you'd probably just keep your foot in it and just drive into the guy trying to crowd you down.
It's happened both ways. Oh, man.
So white flags out at Daytona. You want to be first or second?
First.
And first?
Yeah.
And just take your chances.
Yeah.
Somebody gives you the chrome horn, you just grab the wheel and hang on.
Yeah. The key thing to Daytona that most people missed is easy in, hard off. Most people drove in too hard down there.
Yeah, it was easy to overdrive that.
You had to be on the bottom in the middle of the corner and gassed up.
Yeah, it was easy to overdrive.
You couldn't never race Daytona the way most people race.
I never heard that. So yeah, go slower to go faster, right?
Seriously, it was that way. I mean, that track didn't have a whole lot of bite to it,
Yeah.
So I mean, you had to get to the next corner. So to get through this one, you got to get to the next one. So
I remember one 92. We were down there. We won a couple races, and there was a guy named Bama. I don't know if you remember him, Bama Johnson. He was from Alabama.
Yeah.
His cart runs second. I can't remember that guy's name. David Hurt, maybe.
Yeah.
He's deceased now. Anyway,
Barrett Terry
might have been driving for. Anyway, Greg was letting off about 20 feet before the corner, and man, they would run all over us getting into the corner. And man, about halfway off, we get off the corner, we'd be about 10 feet ahead of them again. And after the race, he come up to me, he said, "Man, we're killing y'all on the straightaway, but we can't run y'all in the corner." I'm like, "You're not killing us on the straightaway because he ain't in the gas." You're killing it because you're in the gas. We're not, but then we're keep pulling away from you because you're in the gas.
Austin Dillon, I don't know if you watched the Cup race the other night. That's kind of how he won that race, right?
Yeah.
Really?
Like he didn't charge the corner. He wasn't out there out of control. He's keeping his steering wheel nice and straight and pointed that way.
More racing than just driving hard.
Yeah.
You got to use your brain too.
Yeah.
Speaking of Austin and Ty, one of you, I thought someone, maybe Dan Klutz told me, didn't you kind of work with those guys in the Legend days or something? You did, Greg?
When they started, they actually went to Pop Richard and said they wanted to go racing. They were like 12 or 13 at the time. And so they went and bought them some Bandoleros. And I took them to Charlotte, and we went all over the place.
That was shortly after we closed the shop.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we went and raced Bandoleros with them I did for, I don't know, a year or two. Legend cars. Like I said, we went up and down the East Coast. I went to Daytona with them. We used to have a little asphalt track down there where we used to race the Legend car.
Mm-hmm.
So we go down there, and then I'd go to the 500 after they would get through racing.
Yeah.
Check it out. So
do you still stay in touch with him some?
I actually seen Austin Ty yesterday.
Did you? That's cool.
Yeah.
Ty, Ty's doing pretty good, really, for what he's got, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Both those boys they're genuinely good guys.
Yeah.
Right? Like a lot of people in their position could be way different than they are.
Right.
They do appreciate the opportunity and what they have.
Yeah.
So
I haven't worked there in almost 11 years. I could text either one of them right now. They would reply.
Is that right? That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're good people.
They're humble. If I go down there and they see me, they'll come over and shake my hand, talk to me. I mean,
good family.
Yeah, that's
Their
cool.
mom, dad, Richard.
All of them act the same way now as it was the day I worked there. They act exactly the same.
Well, and I remember Dan Klutz, I think, didn't he buy his building off of Richard whenever he started CKI? Yeah.
He bought the land.
Yeah,
bought the land. I'm sorry.
He bought the land and built the building. That was in 93.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm going to be honest, and back to that. Lewis Dow and Dan Klutz are great people. Like they were always.
Listen,
and I know I'm not telling you anything, but
no, when I when I was president of WK, I would go to Dan more as a mentor than a sponsor.
Yeah.
Dan,
Yeah.
man, I don't know what the heck to do here. What do you think? And that Dan, he was just so calm and soft spoken, but you better listen, because if he's talking, he's got something to say.
That's right. And he was
right. And he was right. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about the stadium. Other than the stadium, and I'm not even saying that was your favorite track, it might not have been, but other than the stadium, what stands out as some of your favorite tracks you raced
on? Well, I liked Baker, Florida.
It's a big track.
That was a real big racetrack. And
it was a quarter mile.
Place. Yeah, it was, but I like that. But they would get hard and really fast. It was like the opposite of Daytona.
Mm-hmm.
But Baker, Florida, Southern Pit was a pretty good little racetrack.
It was, yeah.
Is it still there?
I don't know. Sadly, a lot of those tracks are gone. I saw where Ainer's still running though.
Yeah, and I like Ainer pretty good.
I like going there. Yeah. I didn't like the mats and the heat.
I like the dirt track better than the asphalt track.
Oh, I didn't know there was an asphalt track.
Yeah, they paved it for a little while.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
With the big tracks back in the day, right? When you guys were racing, compared to like, a big bank dirt track now, how much harder was it to be fast and race, back when karts and you weren't as hooked up, as you you look at a big bank, like 3/8 mile dirt kart race now, and these guys are maybe a blip of the throttle, right? Mid corner, and it's just smooth hands because the thing's so hooked up, right? Yeah. I mean, how much tougher was it to do those big tracks back then?
A lot tougher. Yeah. I mean, our tires were, back in the day were
very wide.
They're this wide. Now they're, they got tires this wide.
Yeah, now they got the 9 inches on the right rear.
Yeah. All the aero stuff. Like we had number panels in 4 Continentals.
Yeah. We raced with Baker Florida, then we had body working all over.
Right.
Did you ever race Possum Kingdom?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I like that racetrack too.
That was honestly, that could have been a small stock car track.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. That was big enough, I think, to fit.
They moved them back up.
I heard that. It was, what was it? 3? Was it 3? I think it might have been even 3/8. I don't think it was bigger than a quarter. And it had to, I'll bet it carried a 20-degree banking, Xander. It was fast. Oh, man. It was fast.
Possum Kingdom is one of the first dirt kart tracks that I remember looking up as a kid on YouTube from some of the big races. I haven't been, no.
Check it out.
But I need to, because on some of these stops, I was telling Randy, we actually had to push back an episode yesterday because I got back from driving a rig, our broadcast rig from Indiana down to North Carolina for our next event. Really? And I need to make more stops because, at least for the few years before we streamed the Maxis Grand Nationals, right at the, what's the track name? That's right off of I-85 on the way up to like right
Carnesville.
Into South no, not
Carnesville.
I've been to Carnesville, Georgia. No, I've been to Georgia Karting Complex side. I went there as a spectator years ago for Thanksgiving Thunder. But no, some other tracks on like the South Carolina border, just almost into North Carolina.
Cherokee. Cherokee's a stock car track.
Blacksburg, yes, Blacksburg. Iron City. Yeah. I used to drive up 85 to go up to Mooresville to Trackhouse Motorplex when I was younger to announce those club races or to race myself in the sprint stuff all the time. I would see that, and then there's been a few other places where I'm like, man, I need to stop in when they look like there's, for one, at least if it looks like it's the size of a go-kart track, but also if there's an event going on, because in the same way that when I called Randy that I wanted to start doing a show like this of both going back to his talking karting history and kind of relating that to stuff in the modern world, is getting to talk to guys like yourself, guys like John Wood, guys like even Frank Kelleher from Daytona, that there's the crossover that used to happen, especially back when Daytona was Daytona, between sprint and asphalt oval and then dirt oval and road race. Just there isn't nearly that much of a crossover in the crowds anymore. And the reason I had called Randy about this show is, I'd been involved with enough of what was going on in the sprint world and a little bit just keeping tabs on. I'm not like involved in the shaping of the dirt world, but knowing what's going on, of like, man, I feel like we hit the same problems every couple of years and it's cyclical. We probably hit these 20, 30 years ago and had a solution back then if we would just talk to people and get some answers. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Possum Kingdom brings me back. Cause when I started, I'm from Georgia and Woodstock. And, there's a lot more dirt oval options and even, asphalt options, even to cars with Lanier and then Atlanta Motor Speedway with Bandos and Legends. But my parents and my family had no mechanical background at all. So we figured if we just had a piece of junk, at least maybe there'd be a couple more corners the driver might be able to make a difference. Little did we know that it was less about setup in the modern world as just as much important tire game, right? It would have been way out to lunch, not knowing anything there. But there's a lot more options for me if I would have gone down the oval route growing up as a NASCAR kid than what we did with Sprint asphalt road course.
Yeah, the whole tire thing now is.
What do you guys think of that?
It sucks.
Yeah. I mean, it's been around a long time, and we've met with tires.
Yeah, we actually helped cause some of that probably,
but it's escalated. It just keeps escalating. I mean, I knew it's been a problem for 25 years. I mean, I remember being. Randy can probably remember some of this.
Sadly,
started cutting tires about 1999.
Yeah,
and I remember we were. I don't know if it was Jasper, Florida or somewhere. And Tony Barton made a comment. There was, I don't know, 5 or 6 of us standing around, maybe Dan Sox and a few of us. And
Bradley Geralds.
Yeah. And Tony made a comment, said he's cutting these tires is going to ruin the sport. He said he's costing these people money and we're taking these tires and basically shaving them down. We're racing 2 races, we throw them away, blah, blah, blah. And I remember a couple of them's like, well, look around, there's 1,000 people here. It's not causing nothing. And he was right they're right in a way
at that time, yeah.
But as it's escalated and it's evolved,
looking
25 years later, has it done anything? And the answer is yes.
Yes,
it hasn't helped. That's for sure.
Right. So a problem. It's kind of like getting cancer. When it first starts, it ain't hurting you, but as it grows, it's killing you. So that's
and you can't necessarily put it back in the box, right? You can't once you've opened Pandora's box with it, the evolution's going.
Once
it's
you
going, right?
Best thing that ever happened, which was one a little bit of the downfalls with WKA, not their fault. I think they wanted to try to start stamping the tire or branding the tire around 2005, 2006 when they went to Daytona. To basically, you had to check your tire in, you brand it, you got to race the tire all weekend. Well, the racers basically boycotted that. We're not going to do that. We want to work on our tires.
Yeah.
Well, they're their own worst enemy because if they would have stayed with that process back then, and they would have had it refined and retuned and down to a science today, and Karty might still be in a better spot if you could show up and you had to run a certain tire every time you went.
Yeah.
But it ain't that way.
And I'm going to bare my soul a little bit, but one of them, and I'm not. To the day I die, I'm not going to call it a mistake, but it was probably a bad decision. Is we tried to fight the tire battle head on. We hired a guy. We had the old sniffer. We did the branding. We did all that.
Yeah.
And the result we got was losing about half our entries.
Yeah.
And what frustrated me the most, I'm not going to talk out of school. I'll keep it, generic, is a lot of the people.
Come on, Randy, you're retired.
Yeah. But a lot of the people that were doing this to me you better do something, this and that. Well, I did. And you know what? They raced somewhere else where they weren't doing it.
Yeah.
And I again, I'll keep it to myself, but I'll never forget that. And that,
I understand.
Like I said, the racer's their own worst enemy.
Yeah. You can't protect someone from their self if they're not willing. And the spirit of competition, I think, outweighs everything else you're trying to do. And if you think you can beat somebody, a lot of guys will just say, whatever it takes, man, I just want to do that. And here we are. So, I mean, there's some big dirt karting events, but the tire thing is just running rampant.
They're paying guys to
I was going to say, like in the sprint world, it's a model that, was kind of spurred on by a couple of different factors, but where it's morphed to is, what used to be a bunch of 20-foot trailers and 16-foot trailers and 12-foot trailers is a bunch of factory big rigs almost exclusively and big tents. And there's not any secret sauce that goes in under those, but there's the perception of, well, I can't compete against that, 10 cars underneath it. And I know there's some of that in the dirt races that I've been to even recently, but it's just as much like you don't see who's got a tire deal with this guy and how many, customers this tire guy is servicing, right, or doing the tires for him. That's kind of where it's more, you at the big races, there's 3, 5, 10 or so guys that are servicing, maybe 20, 30 guys or so
half
doing their
dozen
tires kind of right. Yeah.
They're doing everybody in the pits. They're doing everybody, right?
Yeah.
You've got this handful of people and they're just professional go-kart racers, but that group of people can't keep the sport alive.
No.
Yeah.
That's what they've got to get a grasp on, how to get the local level.
We've got to get some youth back into this sport somehow.
I think so. And I think back when I was with WK, we had a tremendous infrastructure of, we called them master tracks, but there was the Tyros, the Liberties.
Yep.
There was a track, I think in Albemarle or something, just a small tracks that would never wasn't even big enough to hold a state race, but they had a steady local crowd. I think a lot of those tracks are gone.
Yeah, they are. The local track thing is almost
and again, not to be disrespectful, but when you start throwing money at races, you might have a good turnout that night, but people aren't. Right. People aren't loyal. They're going to go to the next race, right? They're not going to say, "Oh, I won $1,300 at Carteret. I'm going to run Carteret every weekend, or whatever." You know, I mean, and that's fine. But I think that when you had those local tracks, you would have the cream of the crop say, "I'm ready to run the North Carolina series."
Right.
That's all I can do here. Your story is the best example you can give. You went up that ladder. And now that ladder is like 2 rungs. You know?
Well, the biggest thing is when you pay more money, people spend more money to go.
The more it costs you to race.
If it pays $10,000 to win, you go buy 20 sets of tires. If it pays $1,000 to win, you go buy 4 sets of tires. It's like,
and let's be honest, that top 10 to 15% is always going to take the money.
It's the same guys.
Yeah.
It's a never-ending cycle.
Yeah. It's the same guys.
Yeah. No, I remember talking a bit with Joe Janowski, NK, a bit about it, right? As he was kind of educating me of how in the shortest form possible, the evolution of it. And there was like 2 points on it. It was like, one, he's like, exactly that. He's like, it's basically, reverse Robin Hood. It's the rich robbing the poor because the back of the field's paying the front of the field, right? Because it's not like
you're spot on.
Racing where you actually have a spectator crowd and everybody's getting part of the we're part of the entertainment. No, we're the customers. It's just some of the customers are taking some of the other customers' money.
That's exactly.
My better analogy is the guys that are winning all the races, they're the drug dealers, and they're just hoping all the people are coming in.
I like that one.
They're new users.
They need the drug addicts to come and keep coming in so that they can keep getting their money.
I'm not arguing.
It's the same, and then the similar way to exactly like what you guys were saying with the tracks, right? The barrier to entry to be a dirt karting event promoter is pretty low, at the Sprint asphalt road course tracks, they all got rental carts, and the infrastructure that's needed to put on an event when you got more than just a couple of corners, you need more flaggers, you need more eyeballs for officials. You can't get away with one race director. A lot of them now, they have to have F1 and IndyCar style CCTV, race control systems, just like NASCAR has for their race control. So that demand's now made this barrier where not everyone can just put their own big national event on, but the number to put an event on so much lower, and there's not any other income for a dirt kart track but doing dirt kart racing or practice days, that I can go to the one near me and I can say, I'm going to pay 100% back and I'm going to make no money this week. And they're going to come back next week. I'll either hike the entry fee or I'll pay a little smaller purse. And then the next week, my best friend goes and does the same thing at a track half hour down the road. Yep. And everyone I thought I just made a little customer just went there. And then that's what the traveling circuit is now, pretty much, right?
Yeah. Well, if you're racing for money, you need to quit today. Anybody out there watching this, if you're racing to go win money, you might want to think
you might win for a short period of time, but you can't make a living and retire.
It's like people that gamble and say that they're professional gambler, right?
And I can attest, these guys know what they're talking about. So I'm going to switch gears here for a second. I'm going to say one word, and I want you guys to tell some stories. Kart Fest.
Awesome.
It was awesome.
One of the best things karting racing ever had.
Yeah, that was some of the greatest fellowship. I mean, even though we were all competitors, or most of us were competitors,
we all got along.
But at the end of the day, we were all family, right?
It's one of the proudest things in WK that I was ever involved in. It makes me proud. The relationship I still have with you guys that's been renewed, I'm pretty proud of that too.
Yeah, me too.
Kart Fest, and Xander never. I don't think you ever had the opportunity to go to Kart Fest, did you? So here's Xander. He's never been to Kart Fest. I want you guys to tell him what Kart Fest was.
I'll let you take this.
Man, it was kind of like a reunion in a way, because basically anybody that was in kart racing showed up, but the people that were involved, the heavy, the ones that were the icons vendors and the people that were putting on were the spectacle. That's who everybody came to see. And it was just a huge fellowship, a gathering, people sharing ideas, seeing ideas.
But we would open the doors up at like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and they would be lined up. Like he was talking about Daytona earlier, there would be people lined up to get into this place. Like they were pre-gaming, trying to get in.
Yeah.
Because it would be a whole building full of displays, go-karts, engines, tires, you name it.
And a lot of stuff was new.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most of it was new.
There would be times you could be standing in your booth and the aisle in front of it would be so full of people, you couldn't see the people across from you. You couldn't see the booth across from you. It would be that crowded. I mean, just groves of people.
Yeah. Thousands of people.
Yeah. It was very good for the sport.
It was.
What happened?
It was in January, when there wasn't a lot going on.
Yeah.
Why can't they still do that?
What happened to it?
I don't know.
Like sanctions.
Well, I don't know. I left. I don't know. Some people had some better idea. But, and I don't mean that sarcastically, but and again, not to bare my soul, but I reached a point in WK where there was a lot of infighting, and I was part of it. And had I stayed there, I'm not sure we'd have survived. And somebody had to give, and I said, you know what? I blinked. I said, guys, you got better ideas. I'm going to leave. And they recovered, and they had some good years, and they got a solid dirt program going now, from what I understand.
Yeah, they do.
But Kart Fest, I don't think went maybe a year after I left, if that.
No.
And again, there was. Go ahead.
Maybe one more year after you left. I think.
So was it at Charlotte, like kind of right near WK offices, or was it down in Daytona? Where was it?
Started in Daytona.
Well, we did do it in Daytona for a year or two.
Yeah, we did. Then it moved to Charlotte to the Merchandise Mart for a little while.
Yeah.
It ended in Hickory.
It ended in Hickory, which, it's just to add another element to this, Hickory was known in the winter for ice storms.
That's an old joke we used to have every time.
And I swear, every time at Kart Fest, they would have, not every time, but about every other year, there would be an ice storm.
It would be half of them, yeah.
The other thing, along with the trade show, and we did tech seminars, we would have over the weekend 3,000 to 4,000 people through the doors.
Oh, easy.
We also had the Speedway Dirt, the Speedway Pavement, and the Horseman Gold Cup banquets.
Yes.
Friday night, Saturday morning, and Saturday night. We did 3 banquets. All told, we probably hosted 1,000 people at those 3 banquets.
Yeah.
We're doing all that and conducting a trade show. And as I said, it's probably one of my proudest things, because not because anything I did, but the team I had working for me, just like clockwork, man. Everybody knew where they were going, and it was amazing. But it was, I mean, you guys have had a lot of experience down there, and I'm pretty sure it was, obviously we kept getting the exhibitors back, but it's pretty good for business.
It was beneficial for us. I can say that without a doubt.
Kart Fest losing the magazine's it hadn't helped us.
Yeah, the magazine, that's another thing that was people enjoyed.
Magazine and Kart Fest.
Of course, we're in a different era now.
I know.
Social media.
Yeah, we were talking about that too, right? I mean, that's that's where this is from, right? Even just any long form written or visual media now is well outpunched by short form. With a podcast like this, right? We'll get X amount of people that'll listen to this full thing, and a good chunk of them will hear about it and see that you guys went on it from the 1 or 2 snippets that we'll post, right?
Yeah, you're right.
What have you guys, either during that era or ever since, made the trip to PRI, or like ever done like a booth at like PRI when it was Orlando or Indy?
We closed our shop down to the end of 2003. I haven't been back to anything like that since. I mean, I went to work at RCR for, like I say, 11 years. And
I haven't been to what I would call a go-kart race. We went to the Big O last year when it was in
2 years ago.
At Blacksburg, 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was in Blacksburg in the spring last year, right?
Yeah, that's the last one, and the first one I've been to in
I'll go catch a local
7 or 8 years.
I don't know, 3 or 4 times a year.
I never go to a kart race anymore.
I'll go.
I should, but I don't.
I'll go walk around for 2 or 3 hours, and I'll leave. I normally don't watch any races or anything. I just normally go see some old friends and leave.
I helped WK with some announcing at the sprint track 2-3 years ago at Daytona for Kart Week. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to go over to the dirt track. And I don't know what I was expecting, except I guess I thought I would step back in time and know everybody.
This is the one that behind the racetrack now.
Yes.
Yeah, the one in the flat of turn outside.
And they do pretty good. They get over 3 days. I think they have 800 or 900 entries.
That's pretty good.
But I went through. I swear to you, I went through the pits. I walked up and sat in the stands and looked around. I didn't know anybody.
Yeah, that's the same way when I go to. I mean, there'll be people that know me or recognize me, but I don't know them.
It doesn't feel weird though.
Well, it's either telling me that I haven't changed much or I have a bad memory.
I think I've changed. It's got to be my memory, and I would vouch for that. It's probably my memory, but
honestly, you haven't changed a whole lot.
No,
in my eyes, you haven't.
I don't think you guys have either. You know, it must be the light.
This used to be black.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I was going to say. I think it's the lighting. The lighting in Keith's office, maybe. Yeah.
No, he needs to fix that.
Actually, this isn't my office. I'm using a spare office.
Oh, we don't even deserve your office?
No, it's kind of like my office is the front of the office, and then we got a little lobby area. And to set up in there and to do it the way we're doing it, I would have my back turned to my window that looks out in the lobby.
There's a lot of windows.
And I didn't want nobody looking over our shoulder looking like, what are them two goofballs doing in there?
See, now that'd be a pretty funny clip for us to try and get some more eyes on this thing.
I moved us to a spare office kind of right now, just to kind of, and it's at the back of the office. So we're not getting any interruptions or anything, no phone calls or nothing.
So if we rewind back a little bit, you guys you said 11 years since you had closed down the shop. So take us through a little bit of the journey, and then ultimately what kind of was like, this is the end of this chapter of being so involved in the dirt karting scene.
So we've actually been closed 22 years this December.
Okay.
I went to work at RCR, worked there for 11 years. I left to pursue an insurance career. Basically got tired of working on EFI. It was boring. Wasn't any fun. Nothing was wrong with Richard Childress Racing. Nothing was really wrong. NASCAR's changed a lot, and I was just ready to work closer to home and try to make a little bit better living, and chose this path. And then Greg joined down there shortly. Well, he helped Ty and Austin for a little while, and then when they moved on to dirt car racing, Richard and Mike Dillon moved Greg over to the engine shop, so we worked together again. So Greg and I had either lived together or worked together our first 40 plus years of our lives.
A long time,
yeah.
Wow.
Because we lived together until 30. Then I got married and moved out, but we still worked together. And then there for a few years, we were kind of separated. And then he came to work at RCR, so we worked together and we're seeing each other every day at lunch, break, again for another 11 years. And then until I got in the insurance business, we pretty much have been connected almost every day of our lives.
Yeah. And we still call each other about every day.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. And you both have started, you got families now, and life is good.
I have a 22-year-old son and a 19-year-old daughter. And
oh my gosh.
My daughter's 21. Yeah. She's I got a senior at NC State. She's going to business management. She just went back to school. Wow. And then I've got a 23-year-old that went back to school to do cosmetology. She'll be finished this fall. She's finished her last semester to be a cosmetologist, hairdresser.
My son actually works with me, and my daughter's at college.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And I will say, not because I do want to brag on them, my kids ain't never gave me no problem. And that's something I've been so like, man, it could have went so many different ways, but they ain't never gave me no problems. Yeah. I've been fortunate.
Well, they've had a good structure, I'm sure.
And I'm be celebrating my 25-year wedding anniversary.
We've got married the same year.
September 9th. Greg will be celebrating his.
We did.
He'll be celebrating his November 11th.
Yeah.
Wow.
I married Justin Moorfield's sister.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Married.
All right.
So, yeah, we've been together a long time.
And I hate to bring this up, Keith, but now that you mentioned being married and stuff, it sticks in my mind. And maybe I'm thinking of somebody else, and correct me if I'm wrong. Did I possibly see a video of you singing on a cruise ship?
Well, I would have been with her, that's for sure.
Yeah.
She doesn't sing, but yeah, I'll sing a little bit.
I don't think that's probable.
That's probably 100%.
It wasn't possible. It's probable.
I'm going all the way to probable. Yeah.
And actually, we're going on a cruise for our 25-year wedding anniversary. We leave September 7th.
That's awesome. Congratulations. That's great.
So, question for you guys: since basically, neither of y'all's kids would probably have any memories even of the shop or anything karting wise, do they ever come across any of the trophies you guys have? Do you guys have those around where they've seen them and ask about them and then go, hey, I'd like to try that at one point? Was there ever anything like that when they were younger?
A little bit. I mean, my son did some. Yeah, they see our trophies like and again, not trying to boast, but like we have a lot of trophies.
Yeah.
They're easy to see.
Mm-hmm.
So, but sometimes I'll ask him, what does this say? Or where was this at? And you have to tell the story sometime. But he has approached me before, mostly when he was younger, about racing. And I probably should have let him do it, but I know what it is and what it takes and all the things that come with it. And I tried to steer him away from it for whatever reason.
Yeah. I have 2 girls and they've never really had any real interest in it. And this is a little known fact that most people would not even believe about myself. I don't have a trophy, a magazine, nothing in my house that has anything to do with kart racing. Not
really. Yeah.
I do.
I don't, and it's not because of any. I just, it's kind of my past, and I've always said this. I don't want people to know me by that.
Yeah.
I just kind of want people to just know me as being a good guy, treats people right, not by being some famous racer.
We have our family has a farm, and we have a milk barn, an old milk barn. It's not active anymore. And our aunt called us one day and says, "Hey, can you come move some of this stuff?" So we showed up, and it was how many trophies?
Oh, hundreds of first place trophies.
And they're all sitting out there, and I'm like,
dust.
Do you remember this? And I'm like, I don't remember that one. Do you remember this? I don't remember.
And then one time, an occasion was like, man, I remember this race. Remember that Dagsburg, Delaware, we drove that truck up there?
Right.
Because we did find that trophy.
We did. We sure did.
Yeah, that's a keeper there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we got one trophy in my dad's basement for that championship. It's always been sitting in the same place for probably 30 years now.
Yeah, it's got a lot of dust on it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's I wish I would have saved more stuff, but I just didn't. I've never been that kind of guy,
the pictures again, nobody had a phone, camera with them everywhere they went like they did today. So there's not a lot of pictures we have. There's a few, but not like it is today where,
But you know what? Today we got to relive some of those memories though.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm glad honestly, I'm glad we got to do this because
I'll say this, kart racing has been a very positive impact in my life. Not so much, today, but it's molded me, shaped me. It's connected me with a lot of people, mostly good people.
Yes.
So
I would change none of it.
I wouldn't either. I don't want to relive it again.
The good, the bad, or the ugly. I wouldn't change any of it.
But it's paved a very successful life for myself because of the connections I've made and what it's taught me.
Yeah, we got to know a lot of good people.
That
you normally wouldn't meet.
Right.
When you're exposed to hundreds and thousands of people every weekend, that the normal person doesn't get involved with.
Right.
I would say that if I take somebody like through my path, my career, mentors, people that's been like instrumental in my life that I've connected with in kart racing, man, you got to throw Dan Klutz, Lewis Dow, Robin Bradshaw. I talked to him yesterday. So we shared some old stories yesterday.
Yeah.
And
don't forget Mike Burris.
Mike Burris.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Well, yeah, really.
How is Mike? Is he back?
I don't know. I haven't talked to him in a long time, and it's sad because we kind of got sideways there for a while. But I'll be the first to tell you, Mike Burris helped me immensely in WK.
Yes, he's helped him and I out too. Yeah.
And I think Kurt has taken that baton or the torch or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And Kurt, just like Mike, Kurt is all for the Carter.
Good guy,
top notch.
Yeah.
Those are good people.
And then I will say this too. We switched to Phantom Racing chassis, Harold Wiggins chassis in 1996. And probably if we hadn't have done that, shop probably wouldn't have been successful those last 6-7 years.
Yeah, Harold helped us out a lot.
He turned into a really good friend, business partner.
Yeah.
And he's also very instrumental.
He's another icon of the sport. Maybe you can get him on here sometime.
Yeah.
And Harold and I still stay in touch. We share some TikToks together, some stuff that's funny, or still text occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
Went to his mom's funeral. But yeah, there's a lot of people that, man, I can sit here and go on about people.
Yes.
But there's a lot of people that were really instrumental in
making us who we are.
Yeah. The people that helped us, Yeah. Can't do it by yourself.
How'd the connection lead to working with Richard Childress Racing? I mean, I'm sure that probably wasn't exactly on your guys' radar from the very first go-kart race you went to, but
not really.
So my daughter was born in 2002, and I still had the shop. And through the first year there, she was born in July, so the first year, I kind of started recognizing how much time we'd spent racing and being gone, and just all the hustle bustle. And Greg's son was born that same year, 2003. He's a year younger, and
we're in our 30s by now, so we're starting.
And I just decided to look.
Life's starting to get a little real.
Yeah,
I started looking at things in a different light, and just kind of was like, man, do I want to be doing this when I'm 50, 55? Do I want to be running to a racetrack? Do I want to be working on little Johnny's tires and getting told I'm stupid and I don't know what I'm doing? And, because you hear a lot of that. And then so I'm like, man, and at the time, I mean, we were just making a living. We weren't really making any money. We were just
we were doing okay.
We were paying for racing.
Yeah,
we were making enough money to live. Yeah. And I was like, man, this just ain't worth it. So I had some connection to RCR. Danny Lawrence was a guy that I knew for a long time. We built some engines for him. He raced in the early 90s. And he was an engine tuner for Dale Earnhardt. And so we kind of got in connection with him and just asked him what the possibilities, somebody like me coming there and getting a regular job, where I could get away just Monday through Friday. And pretty much it was almost hired on the spot. And then I told him, I said, well, I need some time. This started in October, and I told him I needed some time to wind things down. I went to Greg and told him my ideas, and he pretty much agreed we probably need to do something different.
Yeah. It was time to turn the page.
Yeah, it was time to move on. And man, that's kind of how it went. And then we liquidated everything and sold it out.
Yeah.
And pretty much that was it. I didn't go to a go-kart race for probably a year or two after that. I quit like cold turkey, like a drug addict.
So you went to work for RCR after Earnhardt's crash?
Yeah. It was a couple years later.
Yes, 2 years.
So you were there during the Harvick years then?
Yeah.
I was there in his earlier days, and some struggles down there too. I've seen a lot change down there.
Yeah.
A lot of hard times. I mean, that was, and really though, even though the hard times were there, it was probably my funnest time being there because of trying to help them build something, even though you're a really, really small part of it.
There's a lot of spokes in that wheel.
Yeah. You're still just a really small part of it. And it's like, man, you really feel like you're trying to build something, and winning that first race or winning some races. I got the Daytona 500 ring. I mean, working there.
Yeah, I've got a couple of those, and it's we've been lucky. I've been lucky.
Yeah, I got a few plaques and some stuff from RCR, things that I've accomplished and done.
Yeah.
So it was, but then again, the cycle there kind of was running thin just because of the way things were going with NASCAR. And, I started off building carburetors there. And at that time, doing my own flow work, my own machine work, dyno work, chassis dyno. I mean, I was pretty much felt like I was contributing to the speed of the car. And honestly, when we switched over to EFI and I got moved over to that with me and Robin Bradshaw, we worked together from end of 06 till the time I left. Robin and I worked in one room together, side by side, almost like old times.
Wow.
And man, the conversations me and that guy had about life, just racing.
He's a good man.
Good man.
When I talked about you guys and the respect you always showed me, Robin was the same way.
Yeah.
There were some, and again, we're not going to talk out of school. There were some that if they had an off day, believe me, I was the first one that found out.
I promise you.
I tell this quite frequently, and I don't, that's not against anybody else, even myself. Robin is probably the smartest racer I've ever met, from one end of the aspect to the other. I'm talking about any kind of
from the tire to the chassis
to the engine to the camshaft to the carburetor to head. I mean, everything. He is And that's not shading light to anybody else. He is just
I would agree with that.
Probably one of the most educated, smartest people about racing in general, understands everything about it. But he's so humble and holds it to himself and doesn't boast or brag. And I would probably throw Harold Wiggins in there with a little bit of that too. I mean, he's a pretty sharp cat too. You know, those are probably two of the smartest and mentors for me too in a racing career.
I think a lot of people don't realize that back in the day, Robin Bradshaw was a heck of a driver.
Yeah,
I remember that. So we started racing. He was still
driving. He was still racing at like Barnesville and Darlington and Columbia and all that.
He raced the Gold Cup, and he was as good as. And the Gold Cup back then was the pinnacle.
That was it. That was right. That was the top of the mountain.
Well, it was bigger. It was bigger than the dirt.
Yeah,
he was my hero.
Yeah, when you see that 22 roll out, you knew what was next.
He was as good as any of them, man. He was strong. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you think about it, Randy, like even from the outside or someone like me that wasn't born till the end of that era, right? But
thanks a lot, Xander.
Sorry.
Yeah, really.
Just more so to say how the impact of it. I can't think of another discipline of racing, car racing, go-kart racing, period, that basically like carved through a couple of years of evolution their own like go-kart, right? Like Gold Cup starts and it morphs into more of those hybrid lay down seats that weren't all the way to an enduro, but we're pulling some of the seats out of dirt carts, right? And putting them on straight rail chassis, running like my first go-kart had I think it was an M&M bodywork package. It was running at Barnesville, running clones with a lay down seat and the bodywork. And only just, I mean, we're talking 25 years later, finally everything kind of remerged as the numbers had died down. But Horseman Gold Cup was so big, it was its own, discipline. Like to the younger kids now that I'll have that will have racing in the juniors and cadets and then even up now into seniors, right? The teenagers, they don't understand the idea of a 4-stroke, 2-stroke, different culture, different world. But in that time, 4-stroke, Horseman Gold Cup, it still was probably closer in parallel to dirt than to Man Cup because it was 4-stroke motors and you saw a lot of the same crossover of bodyworks and seats and stuff. But you're talking about basically it carved itself out off of, nothing inherently different with the tracks they ran or the type of racing they did. Its own kind of, world in a sense, right? Yeah. Like that's strong. You don't see something like that. It's no different to me than like the World of Outlaws starting as literally an outlaw car from USAC sprint cars, right? Way back when,
right? Like when we started, there was no left-hander car. Like there was no offset chassis. There was none of that. It was just a straight rail car with 4 number panels and 4 Continental tires on it. And we've seen the evolution from that to what we are today.
Yeah,
it's really crazy that kart racing from say 1990 to 2003, all the different things that changed that hasn't really evolved much since then.
No, it changed more.
Offset chassis, full body work, 6-inch wheel, tachometer that records your lap times, adjustable front ends, just all the engine building stuff, dynos, none of that was in existence really pretty much prior to 1990, and all of it came in that 12, 13-year window, and it's all still there now, and not a whole lot's changed since then.
Yeah, it hadn't evolved as much.
It's literally been cyclical. If you look at any of the different disciplines, road race, sprint, 4-stroke sprint, 2-stroke sprint, dirt. I mean, asphalt ovals definitely tapered off, but the rest of them, all of them are smaller than where they were.
Yeah.
But like you guys said, all that different new stuff kind of stopped, and it's just been a rinse repeat every 5 or 10 years of something a little bit different. But it's like that looks a lot and sounds a lot like what we did in the last generation.
Yeah,
we already went down that path. Now we went this path. Now we're going back, right? Because there's been nothing new.
Little known fact that most people don't know about body work, and this is I'm gonna throw this out there a prop for myself, me and Greg.
About Carteret County.
Yeah, prior years of kart racing, people had nose cones and flat side panels. All right, that was pretty much everywhere you got that. It came by 1992, 93. That was pretty much the norm. Everybody had flat sides and a nose cone. I had the lame brain idea to go to Comet Kart Sales and order 2 enduro side panels. took a jigsaw.
Enduros ran a full body back then.
Right. I cut and molded that thing in my dad's basement and put it on a laser cart and had it all attached like a full body cart, piecing all this stuff together. We showed up at Carteret County Speedway, and that's when it was really booming.
We had to do some finagling to get that thing.
And I rolled this thing out of the trailer with this full body on it. Nobody ever seen nothing like that. It wasn't illegal because there wasn't no rules on stuff like that back then.
Yeah. It ended up being illegal.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. Like Monday.
It did.
So we ended up that weekend winning pretty much everything. And then, of course, the next few races, people started trying similar stuff. Then they made
it's your fault.
Yeah, kind of.
Then they made a rule where you couldn't cover the front. You had to
be right.
You had to look down and see the front tire from the top.
Yeah. This couldn't connect to that, and this couldn't be so high.
Yeah, they ended up doing away with that and made it where the body work was legal and moved on with it. But it's crazy that probably 93, 94.
It's 92.
93, somewhere in that area. I ordered this Comet. I went in the Comet Kart sales and I looked and I was like, man, I'm going to order that and I'm going to make a full body.
Yeah.
And I did it. I mean, I had to cut out around the engine and do all the work. I mean, it probably took weeks to do this thing. I mean,
it did.
You know, it had an old jigsaw down there.
Because it didn't fit. Like I said, it was made for an enduro kart. So we had
had to modify the Nerf bars. I mean, it was a lot of work, but man, it looked like a missile. I remember rolling that thing and everybody looking at it. I mean, it looked like a time machine because nobody'd seen nothing like that.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, if I had $1 for every time somebody said, well, it ain't in the rule book, it must be legal, I'd have retired a lot sooner. But it's true.
It is true.
Well, and tack on to that you'd have a meeting or someone say, all right, time to add that rule for next week. And then there it goes.
I guarantee you there's an emergency board meeting on Monday going, hey, we can't have this.
That's right.
Well, another little known fact that most people wouldn't know, this would be the people that are racing today. We started prepping tires on the inside some about 2001. And it started perfecting it a little bit right before we retired from the sport. And now they've got it perfected, but we were one of the first. I don't know of anybody else that was doing it. We just had the idea, and I would take those tires from the shop and I would take them to my house. I put a rotisserie in my house. And I would do them in my house, and nobody would ever see it.
I mean, the guys that helped us didn't even.
Yeah, even the guys at the shop didn't know that. We the only two that knew about it.
This was the pre-wife days.
Yeah. Well, it was about all that. Yeah. It was about time tire cutting started and all that stuff.
But we were trying to figure out. So what we do is we would put the stuff on the inside of the tires, and we would cut the tires for people, and then we would sell them to somebody, and we'd watch how they run them. Hey,
you shouldn't be telling this.
Go on.
Hey, a lot of them won. So
they did. They didn't know how. They didn't know why they won, but they won.
Little Sammy can drive tonight.
I would be at the racetrack and I'd say, "Hey man, won't you put that second set I sold you on and go out there?" And I'd watch it, and then I'd be like, "Hey, that looks like it worked." So then I was gathering information.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd probably go up to him too when it wouldn't work and be like, "Oh man, you're just missing turn 3 down there. You just
put that other set you brought."
Yeah, I don't think it'll work. Let's try this.
You see this poor guy in tech when they check his tires and he's going, I don't know. I don't know what he's talking about, right?
Hey, I always looked at it like this.
Plausible deniability.
Right.
They got to look at it this way too. As time was going on, they were the one that was really going to win in the deal because if we hit them, they're going to get it.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what we were doing. I remember, you remember Cole Kennedy, Alan Kennedy, you know, I remember we done some tires for him and we went to Ohio to a dirt national. It was actually the weekend Greg's boy was born, Dylan. He was born that same week. He didn't go with us. We've actually got a trophy. Justin's got a trophy at home with Dylan's birthday on it because he was born the weekend we went to this Ohio race. Wow. Anyway, Cole Kennedy won this race up there and we came back. And the boy that helped us, Joe Mahone, he busted his tire down in the shop. He said, "Man, there's something on the inside of this tire. It smells. It's got something in it." And I'm like, "Man, you can't tell nobody about this," because they didn't even know they had it.
No,
you know? Crazy.
Yeah,
I got stories.
Randy, we could probably tell you some other stories about how we were cheating, but I don't know if we want to get into
it. This is like, name me the name of a famous magician. Copperfield. This is like sitting down with David Copperfield and he's telling you all his tricks. Well, I didn't really saw the lady in half. There's 2 boxes.
Yeah, right.
But none of that stuff, like putting the stuff on the inside tire,
it wasn't cheating.
No. The full body work wasn't cheating. I mean, none of the stuff we were doing was.
Well, and again, you sound like exactly, as a kid growing up, loving every bit of NASCAR and watching some of the older documentaries or shows that would come out, right? You hear from any of the best crew chiefs, from back in the day of it wasn't cheating. It wasn't outside the rule book, but we just did this way and nobody knew what we were doing and it made a difference. And it's just so cool to hear. That's to me I'm sure is probably part of the reason you fell a little bit out of love of racing is that was kind of going, it's not nearly as common.
I mean, the ingenuity for sure was starting to wane. You couldn't. The box was kept getting smaller.
Well, we got to the limit, right? We're getting to the point now where it's just throwing money at data and simulator testing and stuff like that. I mean, everybody's kind of gone down every rabbit hole there is. There's only so many that exist out there, right?
That's right.
Well, another good story was Ronnie Miller was a race director, and people were putting these tire wraps and heating their tires up before they go to the grid, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So Ronnie wanted to stop it, which was probably a good idea. So he would put a tire on the grid, and he had a thing to check the tire to see how hot it was.
Temp gun.
And we were at Riverside up in the mountain Shelby, and it was cold outside, probably in the 40s or 50s. And he would shoot that tire, and that tire, your tire had to be within plus, 2 or 3 degrees of that tire on the
ambient temperature, right?
Right. But what he was doing, he would come up and he would shoot your right rear tire. He was shooting everybody's right rear tire. You pull up on the grid, he shoots your right rear tire, he shoots your right rear tire. And I started watching him after the first couple of classes. Every kart that comes there, he shoots the right rear tire. So I go back to train. I tell Greg, I'm like, well, man, we just need to heat the fronts, get that thing to bite on the first lap. So he's not checking the fronts. So we take Justin's tires first and we do them, and he's going to run stock light or something.
Yeah.
And we heat his tires up. We get them really hot. We put them on the cart. We get to the grid. Ronnie comes up, checks right rear tire. We go up.
Yeah.
They drop the green flag. I'm telling you, he goes to the first corner. It looks like he's got 2 engines on it.
Yeah.
Everybody else is pushing and turning, and he's just driving away from him.
Yeah.
Had a straightaway lead in about 2 laps. And we won everything that weekend. We was heating the front tires.
Yeah.
Oh.
But again, that's not cheating. I mean, it's just
you using
it's thinking out of the box.
Yeah.
You're checking the right rear tire, and you can check my right rear tire.
That's funny. I usually ask the question, how karting's influenced your life, but and I'd love you to share, like you've shared a lot of it, but when you get up in the morning and you start your everyday, you look back and say, man, you know what? And you kind of talked about it, but how's karting as a whole really influenced your day-to-day life?
Well, I can say personally, like I said, I married Justin's sister, so
yeah. Well, that's
I mean,
that's as good as it gets.
That's about as good as it gets, all right.
You married your driver's sister. That's a pretty good influence for karting, I'd say.
Yeah. So Meredith and I's been together. We've been together over 30 years. But racing, go-kart racing brought her and me directly together.
That's awesome.
Right? So I guess it's given me everything I've got in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and my wife kind of met through a racing, somebody that I knew through racing kind of.
Yeah.
But as far as me now in the business I'm in, a little known fact most people don't know is we're in competition too.
Sure.
My office is in competition. I'm the manager of the office now. I've been a manager here for 8 years. And our company has a thing called an honor agency award. And there's 8 managers out of 167 that can win first place every year in your category, your group size. We have there's 10 people that work in our office, getting ready to add 11th. And one of my goals coming into the business was to have an honor agency, be first place honor agency. And we've done that last year.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So I'm still trying to win.
Yeah, that's right.
We finished second the last 2 years, won it, and this office has been here for 32 years, and it's the first time ever this office has ever accomplished that. And it was under my guidance. So I'm very proud of that.
You should.
I'm still competitive.
Yeah.
I'm still competitive. Yeah. So that part hadn't left me. Now I ain't doing nothing illegal wrong in this business. No shady dunk here. You can't. I mean, it's just too, but ours is rated on a different. It's not by doing it. It's not winning like that. It's basically how well we do as an office.
Sure.
There's a lot of moving parts and pieces here.
It's easier to measure than warm tires.
Yes, it is. I mean, we got somebody checking us, so
they're checking all 4 of your tires, right?
Yeah, they don't have another class coming in 5 minutes finishing their heat race. They can check you for a long time as long as they need.
Yeah.
So in hindsight, what Ronnie should have done is he should have said, "I'm going to check the tire. I'm not telling you which one."
Well, he should have.
He should
have. But he didn't.
But I'd say, racing in general, I've still got a competitive nature, but it's also, I'd say sportsmanship's something big that I've acquired from it.
So it teaches you a lot of lessons.
I've never had a problem winning the race, or even in my business end now, if somebody's better than us, I don't have a problem shaking your hand and telling you congratulations.
Yeah, right.
You got to be a gracious.
Yeah, there's got to be a certain amount of respect. That's
absolutely.
Right.
And I think karting does teach you that. Don't gloat too much when you win, because you do, somebody's going to whoop you the next race.
Well, you're right.
And if you lose, just take it in stride, man. Congratulate the winner and get better.
Because you're going to lose if you race enough. You're going to lose more than you win.
Oh yeah.
There was a boy traveled with us one time. We went to a race somewhere. We didn't do well that weekend, and we got the truck and trailer. We were heading home, and it's kind of quiet in there, and there's 4 or 5 of us, and he made a comment about how bad we run. I just looked at him. I said, "That ain't gonna happen next time." I said, "I promise you that." And man, we worked our guts out, came back, and next time we had a lot better showing, won some races. And I wasn't never one to walk around the pit area and boast or brag, but when we got in that truck, I might have get a hell yeah.
I'm sure.
Going out the gate, we got it this time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
because that's what it's about at the end of the day. I mean, you're trying to win. But
it's that gratification. Yeah.
Racing has taught me that building friendships, bridges to friendships, and carrying that through my life has been the best thing of it.
Well, this is an example, right? Like, we haven't talked to you in how long?
20 years, probably.
Oh,
longer.
20. Oh, I left WK in 07, and you were gone before then, right?
Yeah.
So it's probably been
17, 18 years at least.
Oh, no, it's been closer to 25.
20.
I'd say it's over 20.
Yeah.
But here we are, and just like it was yesterday, right?
It means the world to me, guys. It really does.
Me too. Like I said again, I'm glad we could do this, honestly.
Yeah.
I wish that I wish at times I would have enjoyed the moment a little.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it a little more.
Yeah.
Because you're always trying to get back to the track and win again.
Right.
Yeah. When you're in the moment, you don't understand.
Yeah. When you're chasing it, winning's almost more of a relief than it is a celebration. Sometimes you're just like
you're more scared to lose than you are happy to win.
Yeah. Right.
Well, that's one of the things too. Walking away from it was the amount of pressure we were putting on ourselves to perform day in out. Because when you run a kart shop like that, if you ain't winning, you ain't selling.
And it's not just us, right? Like it's the people, it's your customers. And,
there's a lot. Your own family, you're dependent on.
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So there's a lot to be said for learning. In the insurance business, I mean, I'm pretty much self-employed to a certain extent, and the better I do, the better it is for my family. So that drives me. Was kind of relatable to kart racing. I mean, the better I've done in that, the better I was. I mean,
and I think I told you, but I sold health insurance for 13 years, and I had such a desire and such an energy for helping people and working with people and putting them in a better place. And I attribute that to my days in WK, when we learned that if we want a good sponsor base, which quite frankly was a large part of our revenue, then we had to make sure they had a good experience and they were happy. And you had to engage yourself in their needs and their business to make sure they were having a good experience. And I think a lot of that had helped me in insurance, and I was successful in insurance. And I think a lot of it's because I learned about that customer service aspect.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like looking back on it. A lot of times building an engine for somebody or selling them a kart and the engine and all, and getting that phone call on Monday and telling me they want to race somewhere. That's
that's gratifying in itself.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
Well, it's the same way here. If I insure something and somebody tells me they've had a huge loss or something, and we find out everything's good, and they get the coverage of it. I mean, it's they're thanking you.
It's I sold a lady a cancer policy one time, and she wrote me a letter. And 6 months after I sold it, she was diagnosed.
Wow.
And it covered almost everything. Well, actually, it was an indemnity policy, so it covered everything plus her non-medical expenses like meals and hotels and so on when she traveled. That meant more to me than what little premium I made in the policy, because I really truly helped somebody at the right time. So
wow,
I get what you're saying, man. It's a people business, whether it's karting or insurance, whatever it is. Somewhere along the way, there's somebody relying on you.
Yep.
And if you do a good job, you'll get that gratification knowing you helped them.
Yep.
Yeah, I had a phone call last February. I wrote life insurance on in 2020, and he called me last February. Called me and wanted to make sure the policies were still active. I told him, yeah, and he says, Hannah died last night.
Oh,
42 years old, died in her sleep, and I mean,
my God,
yeah. And I told him, I said, well, policies are good. I said, I'm gonna get you a check. And I drove to Raleigh. They ended up moving to Raleigh, and I drove a $300,000 check to Raleigh. And there's some gratification in that.
You better believe it.
Yeah.
It's almost like delivering that trophy. You know what I mean? In a roundabout way.
You're coming through for someone, especially when the pressure's on, right? When someone comes to you, going back to when you guys are running the shop, hey, got a race coming up, I need X, Y, and Z, and you're not able to not just, you get them what they need, and then they go and they win the race, and they're like, man, that was, that's just as fulfilling as probably when you were winning yourself.
There's no telling how many hours we've worked up there late in the evening trying to get some guy's engine fine.
Yeah, not for yourself.
Somebody
else.
Right.
Somebody that's in the points championship, a national, and you're trying to get that last little bit out of the engine because you want to see them win. And man, you might stay till 9, 10 o'clock at night just to make sure they got what they need. They're not paying extra for that. They're just doing because you want them to win.
Right.
Hey, before we go, I want to tell you, I went down and visited Bobby and Carol Geddes the other day. They are doing great. They're like 87 years old, and they're
how old is he?
To beat. They're about 87. Yeah,
87.
Like that.
I knew he had to be somewhere around there.
Yeah, and they're doing great. I can only hope I'll be halfway close to that when I'm 87. But they're doing wonderful. Yeah,
well, they're great. They're great people also. Like, you can't beat those.
I wanted to share that with you. I know we're winding down, but I wanted to share that with you. They're doing really well.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I haven't seen them in it's been a long time.
Yeah, been a long time.
We still stay in touch, but they're doing well.
Good deal.
Well, man, thank you guys so much for the time today. This has been so fun. Getting to go down memory lane and learn a little bit from you guys, and so many cool stories, right? Like taking away from the sport and the memories of it. I mean, just like you guys said, I'm sure there's hours and hours.
You muted it, Xander. You muted
made it through this whole thing, Randy, just like we had this morning until that happened. I was so close. I have one cord for my microphone that's just a little bit stretched when I set my desk up. And
it's all good.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you though, guys. Really.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys.
I'll close you with this, guys, before we go. When I told Xander that I had talked to you guys and we were going to do this, I said, listen, I can't promise you what we're going to talk about, but I guarantee you one thing: we're going to have fun, and we did. It's been great. It's just meant the world to me.
I had fun. Like I said, I had fun doing this. I'm glad.
Thank you. Yeah, it was great. It's great seeing you guys.
You too, buddy.
All right.
Take care.